What's up, Infected? Welcome to the Quarantine. This is Kickstart Your Week. Now, if you're not familiar with what this is a completely biased just segment that I record every week, or at least I try to every week, and it covers the previous week Kickstarters that I thought looked interesting. Again, it's totally biased. I scroll through what catches my eye, what looks neat. And that's really all it is. And I give an arbitrary award at the end of which one I thought was the best one of the week. That's pretty much it. Now, this week's video may feel a little bit rushed. I'm actually recording this Saturday in the afternoon. Usually I wait until Sunday evening to record, edit, put everything together, and get it out on Monday. Now, I'm recording this Saturday because my brother's getting married on Monday, and I'm his best man. So we're doing the bachelor party tonight. Then we're doing a thing on the night before the wedding, and then the wedding. So I'm not going to have time. So that's why if this video feels a bit rushed, sorry. I only have 4 games this week. There were a couple that I wanted to check out, but I haven't had a whole lot of time or anything, so I narrowed it down to the 4 that I do know are going to be good Kickstarter. Now, lastly is, if you like this style of show or video or whatever you want to call it, check out the game Arati. I'll have a link down in the description that'll take you directly there. They're really cool guys. I do a weekly podcast with them, or again, try to every week. Little podcast. We basically, it's the same thing as this, but we all pick 1, sometimes 2 if there's time, Kickstarters that we thought were the best Kickstarters of that week. Alright, first up on my list is Dinosaur Island Back from Extinction. Now, I have Dinosaur Island actually down here, it's on the bottom shelf, but I have Dinosaur Island already. I kickstarted it. If you haven't played Dinosaur Island, it's a really cool kind of worker placement. I don't even know what to call it, like worker placement, threat mitigation, kind of game, theme park builder, something like that. But it's a really cool game. You do these, you take actions, you use these workers that have numbers on them to take actions by getting DNA or hiring people or doing all these, buying, buying new rides or attractions, stuff like that. But then you have to mitigate or manage threat in your park. So if say you have a bunch of really violent dinosaurs or something like that in the park, you have to have security to be able to manage that. And then at that point, if you can't, they escape and start eating people and stuff like that. So really good game. This adds a dedicated 2-player mode because the 2-player mode for the original Dinosaur Island was very mediocre. The cats are fighting off screen, so sorry about that. But the 2-player game was very mediocre. This is a dedicated 2-player game with very unique to just the 2-player game. The way dice work, stuff like that. But then it also adds the something, I think it's called Wet and Wild or something along those lines, where it adds like SeaWorld style aquatic dinosaurs, where you can put on these shows. But of course, they can start eating people too. You can also start raising goats, so they eat those instead of the people. Stuff like that. Overall, I mean, it's more stuff for an already really good game. Plus, if you missed out on the first Kickstarter, you're going to be able to get the metal coins, which are thinner. I like the thick ones, but that's what she said. I like the thick metal coins, and I like the meeple, the dinosaur meeples, which you'll still be able to get in this one as well. So if you're interested in that, definitely check that out. Next up is the Shogun and Fresco Big Box. Now, I have Shogun right down here. I also have the Kingdom Builder Big Box, which is also part of this Kickstarter, but I've never even heard of Fresco, so I can't talk about that one. I watched a run-through with Rado. Looks really interesting, but Shogun is probably one of my if not my favorite area control game. The game is phenomenal. It uses this really cool cube tower that you throw your cubes in and only some come out, and you have like netting or something inside of it so it holds cubes, and then they might fall out later to help in future battles and stuff like that. It's already a phenomenal game. I love Shogun. This just adds more. It adds the Tenues something court, I don't remember what it's called. Has the already existing expansion, but it also has like 3 or 4 new expansions to it that are specific to this, which is already really cool. I don't really know how much I want those expansions or how much they're going to add. It's probably not the right thing to say is want, but I don't know how much gameplay it's going to add to it. But the gameplay itself is already solid. So if you don't already own Shogun, this is a great time to hop in, because on top of that, you get the way you had 3 theaters, shrines, and castles. in the base game, and they're just little cardboard pieces. Now, in this one, they're going to be wooden pieces, which that alone is going to be why I'm kickstarting it, because I'm a sucker for upgraded pieces like that. So you get these little wooden monuments as well. Looks a lot prettier on the board. I really, really like that. But it also changes the cubes to little meeples, which I've been asking a lot about how they work in the cube tower, which is one thing I'm very worried about, actually. But two things. Queen's Games has stated several times that from what they've seen, it doesn't seem to really affect negatively, like the ratio of when things come out, stuff like that. Doesn't seem to really affect it. But on top of that, it also still comes with the cubes, so if you would rather just use them, you can. So I'm very intrigued by this. But on top of all that, Kingdom Builder, I already owned the big box. I wound up importing it or something like that for probably more than I should have paid. But it comes with every expansion. The difference between the big box I own and the new big box is, I guess, it comes with a couple new expansions. So if you're a big fan of Kingdom Builder, there's that as well. I can't really talk about Fresco. If you like Fresco, you'll probably like this too. It comes with some new expansions. So there's that one. Next up on the list is a game that I actually have currently to review, and that is True Messiah. Now, keep in mind, I've only gotten to play this one time, and this was like, what, 20 minutes ago? I think. So take that with a grain of salt. But looking at the Kickstarter, the game looks really, really neat. I'm not going to get too much into the gameplay purely because I'm reviewing it, but, you know, a blanket statement, the game is pretty solid. If you like abstract games similar to Tash Kalar, Onitama that I have up here, if you like abstract strategy games with a touch of deck building and blind bidding, this is definitely going to be the game for you. The theme of it is it's like in the future, like a post-apocalyptic future, but the different players are different religious factions. So it's very obscure what religion you are, so you can really make up your own. There's no like religious iconography or anything like that in it. It's you're the red Messiah, you're the white Messiah, you're the so on and so forth. And the artwork alone looks very H.R. Geiger and Warhammer 40,000-ish, kind of a nice little blend. Buddy of mine that actually played with me earlier this afternoon had mentioned that even if money permitting, if they have a art book on the Kickstarter, which I didn't think to check if they did, he's definitely going to pick that up. So definitely check out the True Messiah. It looks phenomenal, and I can tell you, after playing only one game, keep that in mind, so this isn't a review or an endorsement or anything, the game is solid and is a lot of fun. And the fourth game that I have is Good Dog, Bad Zombie. And this one looks really, really cute. For those of you who maybe have kids or just want a good, lighthearted game, like my wife would probably love this one. And it looks almost like a, I'm trying to think of the best way to put it, Plants vs. Zombie style game. Like, I could be completely out of my mind, but that's kind of the implication or indication I get. Basically, you have this board and you have central bark, where you don't want the zombies to come into. And then you have all these other different locations that I guess have different abilities, or you could do different things. I'm not 100% sure. But you're trying to get the zombies to not get to Central Park, the center space on the board. But all of the spaces are very light-humored. You have the tall things. So everything is from the perspective of the dogs. So the tall things, those are skyscrapers. You have the boneyard, it's a graveyard. Stuff like that. And I thought that was super cute. And then one side of the board is, I guess, a cliff face. And we talked about this one on the Gamerati. So if you want more information on it, definitely check out the Gamerati's podcast when that goes up. Joey talks about it in more depth. Provided that's the one they're using this week, I don't know. But either way, the players were rounding up these zombies and getting them to where they'll fall off the cliff face instead. I thought that was pretty cool. But throughout this game, you're also trying to, because you're just a house dog, basically, you're trying to manage your feral meter. If it fills up, you go back feral, you're a wolf, you're dead, effectively. And I thought that was an interesting concept as well, because once all the humans are dead, most animals are going to go back to their feral state. And that's kind of what this kind of touches on, but I love the humor in it. It's very lighthearted, very cute. Again, I love the whole like Central Park, Boneyard, the weird smells, which is a hospital. I like that. So if you're looking for a good, cute little game, you can play with kids. It's very lighthearted, and if you're not sick of the zombie theme, definitely give this one a look. All right, and that is Kickstart Your Week for this week. Again, sorry if all of this felt rushed or anything like that. Like I said, I've actually got a bachelor party that I got to start getting ready for, and I completely forgot that I'm not going to have time to do this on Sunday. So, anywho, that is my Kickstarter of the week. I hope you guys enjoyed. My Kickstarter of the week is probably going to be Shogun, the Shogun Big Box, purely because I already own Shogun, and I know how good of a game Shogun is. It's already, I'm wanting to say my number 5 game of all time. Might be number 6, I don't remember. But like, I have the list somewhere. But it's already a phenomenal game. It's very Risk-like, but with the added effect of you can't just spread like a wildfire like you would in Risk, because you have food management that you have to manage food and feed all your provinces, and then you have to appease the peasants that are in there, and they can revolt and take the area back, and you could lose very vital locations because you couldn't feed everybody, or because maybe you took food from this location one too many times, or you took gold from this location. And it's also, like, I could talk about Shogun all day long. The game is phenomenal. If you haven't heard of it and you like area control games, check out Shogun. It is fantastic. If you don't like the Japanese theme or the Japanese map, check out Wallenstein. Now, I've never played that one, but from what I understand, it's basically the same game, but in Germany. But yeah, that is my Kickstarter of the week, is going to be the Shogun Fresco Big Box. I don't know about Fresco, but mainly because of Shogun. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the show. I've got to start getting ready, and I'll see you guys next time in the quarantine.